What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Dugai, coming at y'all with another episode of Drop It Dimes, Mr. Dugai. And I'm gonna, excuse me, and I'm gonna continue my division previewing and predicting. And right now, I'm gonna take a look at the last division in the AFC. I'm gonna go through is the AFC West. But before I get into this video, for everyone, if you want to give me a follow on my social media platforms, I'm gonna have all that information down in the description box. May not always get a chance to respond to questions and comments on these videos, so feel free to DM me. Whenever I get a chance to, I'll get back at you. Come holler at your boy. Also, if you're a Madden player on Xbox One, I'll have my Xbox One gamer tag in the description box also. First looking over at the AFC West, man, we're gonna start off with the defending Super Bowl champs. And yes, as an Eagles fan, it hurts me to say this, man, but Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, man. Big ups to them. Shout out to them. They did their thing or whatever, man. They beat my Eagles. Patrick Mahomes, who was voted the #1 player in the NFL, was the regular season and Super Bowl MVP. They had Travis Kelce, who you just can't do nothing with. The guy is just absolutely amazing. Chris Jones is big time on that interior defensive line. He gets after the quarterback, does his thing. And they got a bunch of other solid offensive line. Some key pieces. Kadarius Toney was big for them last year. They expecting a lot of big things from him as far as more with the offense this upcoming season. And they got a lot of unknown players, defensively, but they get the job done. They did lose Frank Clark, who I think was a good pass rush defensive end for them, but overall the Chiefs still clicking. They still rolling. They won the Super Bowl last year. Next was the LA Chargers, who had probably one of the biggest collapses that we probably gonna ever see, especially in the NFL playoff game. 31-0. Was it 31-0? Or was it 28-0? Whatever. I think it was 31-0 lead. Oh no, 28-0. Something like that. They was up big. On the Jacksonville Jaguars, Asante Samuel Jr. had 3 interceptions, and they blew it, man. Absolutely blew it. But Justin Herbert is a big-time quarterback. Just got paid a lot. Prototypical type of quarterback. Keenan Allen in the slot, Mike Williams. They had a solid year last year. Broke through, made the playoffs, but disappointing, very, very disappointing end of their season, because this is a very, very talented team. Next, we look at the Las Vegas Raiders, who everything just fell apart for them last year. They brought in Devontae Adams. They have Chandler Jones with Max Crosby. They really thought that things was going to take off last year, and it didn't. Derek Carr was very disappointing, which is why he's in New Orleans now. Josh Jacobs, though, did lead the league in rushing. Henry Ruggs, unfortunately, we know that situation with him. Hate to see innocent people get injured, get murdered, get killed. And Crosby did his thing, but Chandler Jones was a little underwhelming besides that big play against the Patriots. They really underachieving. Now there's a lot of questions about, is Josh McDaniels head coach material? A lot of people wondering that now, with everything going on with, his stint in Denver and what he got going on now. We got to see if he's head coach material. And then last but not least, the Denver Broncos, talking about an implosion. According to Sean Payton, they had the worst coaching of any team in modern day history. They was close. Nathaniel Hackett was terrible as a head coach, but Russell Wilson, that experiment in year 1 was just completely awful. They ended up giving away Bradley Chubb and stuff like that. They had a horrible season, man. And what made it more bad, they had a top 5 pick that they got from Seattle for Russell Wilson, that they gave away to Seattle for Russell Wilson. And, Seattle ended up with that pick. Just an overall terrible year for the Denver Broncos. Looking into this year, first we're going to start from back to finish. Denver Broncos got Sean Payton over there now, Super Bowl winning coach with the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of him personally, as far as I think he's very arrogant and likes to rub his nose in people. But he is a good offensive-minded coach. I do got to give him that. And he has won a Super Bowl. And Probably would have won a second one if the refs called that interference against the Rams. But his job is to rehabilitate Russell Wilson, to get Russell Wilson back to the level of the let Russ cook whole mantra. They got an okay offensive line. They did lose Tim Patrick, it looks like, again to a season-ending injury. They got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, you know, running backs. Javonte Williams is coming back off of tearing the ACL last year. And defensively, one thing, they was okay defensively. They gave away badly Chubb. But they got Patrick Surtain Jr. over there, who's one of the better, up-and-coming defensive backs and defensive players in this whole league. You would expect Denver to be better this year, obviously, than they was last year. They ain't got much far to go. Next, the Las Vegas Raiders. They're now going into the Jimmy Garoppolo era. They got rid of Derek Carr, and now it's Jimmy G. Jimmy G, this is probably his last chance to try to be a franchise quarterback in this league. He's coming off of a foot injury, so for him, he's rehabbing it. I think he's been practicing at camp, so I think he's ready to roll. They got a sticky situation with Josh Jacobs, who wants his money. Devontae Adams is big time, but if this turns into a clown show, he won't hesitate to act out of there. They do got Max Crosby and Chandler Jones rushing the passer. There's some really good rush ends. And they got a lot of young people on the back seven. I think the Raiders struggle a little bit this year, man. I think they struggle, yo. And I think this may end up being Josh McDaniels' last year as a head coach in the NFL. Next team to go over, the LA Chargers. Very, very talented team. Justin Herbert is one of the most talented quarterbacks in all of football. Austin Eckler led the league in touchdowns last year. He's a dynamic, pass catch option out the backfield. Keenan Allen, though he's getting a little older, is still a solid slot receiver. Mike Williams. They added Quentin Johnson from TCU, who's going to be you would think would give him a little more explosion on the offensive end. And defensively, man, they got some players: Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Kenneth Murray, Asante Samuel Jr., and Derwin James. Man, this team is absolutely loaded with talent. On paper, their biggest question is their head coach Brandon Staley, who's another guy that could very well be out of a job if this team underachieves this season. On paper, they honestly got more talent than the Kansas City Chiefs on paper. Then we look at the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, man. Patrick Mahomes is everything big time. I think he's going to end up being the second greatest quarterback we've ever seen, behind Brady. Travis Kelce could probably be the greatest tight end we ever seen. Isaiah Pacheco, who had a really big finish to the year last year, solidified himself as their lead back. They do got some questions at wide receiver with Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and all them. Which is so incredible that Mahomes still gets it done on a outrageous level. Then defensively, they got the holdout situation with Chris Jones. They did lose Frank Clark, but they got a lot of young players, man, who none of them are household names, but they play good enough. They complement that offense really, really well. Now as far as who I think will win this division, if the Los Angeles Chargers would have gotten Sean Payton, if they would have fired Brandon Staley and got Sean Payton as their head coach, I think they would have a real good shot to win this division. But I can't bet against Patrick. As an Eagles fan, I learned my lesson. I can't bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, especially not with this division. When they're the new version of the New England Patriots. They win in this division. If they're not going to not win this division. And the difference is they got their head coach quarterback combo is going to probably go down as one of the best we've ever seen in this game. So for a 7 or 8, however many years in a row, I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West once again. But with that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Hit the like button for your boy. Give me a subscribe. I'm going to have Philadelphia Eagles, NFL, and content on my other teams throughout the year. Y'all have a blessed one. Fly, Eagles, fly.